Welcome to the Bible Quiz and Trivia channel. Today, we're focusing on the book of 1 Samuel, testing your knowledge with some tough questions about its intriguing stories and characters. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and like this video to support our content. After the quiz, share your score in the comments. We love seeing how well you do. Are you ready? Let's get started. Question 1. What was the name of Samuel's mother? A. Rachel. B. Leah. C. Hannah. D. Deborah. Answer: C. Hannah. Hannah, the mother of Samuel, is a central figure in the early chapters of 1 Samuel. Her story is particularly noted for her prayer and vow to God when she was childless. 1 Samuel 1:20 states, "So in the course of time Hannah became pregnant and gave birth to a son. She named him Samuel, saying, 'Because I asked the Lord for him.'" Question 2. Which tribe was Saul from? A. Judah. B. Benjamin. C. Ephraim. D. Levi. Answer: B. Benjamin. Saul, the first king of Israel, was from the tribe of Benjamin. This is mentioned in 1 Samuel 9:1, which introduces Saul's family background. There was a Benjamite, a man of standing, whose name was Kish, son of Abiel, the son of Zerah, the son of Bechereth, the son of Aphiah of Benjamin. Question 3. What offering did Hannah bring yearly to Eli for Samuel? A. A bowl. B. A gold coin. C. A robe. D. Bread and wine. Answer: C. A robe. Every year, Hannah made a little robe and brought it to Samuel when she came up with her husband to offer the yearly sacrifice. This loving act is described in 1 Samuel 2:19. Each year his mother made him a little robe and took it to him when she went up with her husband to offer the annual sacrifice. Question 4. How did God first communicate with Samuel? A. In a dream. B. Through a prophet. C. By a vision in the night. D. Directly calling his name. Answer: D. Directly calling his name. God first communicated with Samuel by calling his name while he was lying down in the temple. 1 Samuel 3-4 notes, "Then the Lord called Samuel. Samuel answered, 'Here I am.'" Question 5. Why did the Israelites demand a king? A. To be like other nations. B. To lead them into battle. C. To judge them fairly. D. To build the temple. Answer: A. To be like other nations. The Israelites demanded a king so that they could be like all the other nations. A king would lead them and fight their battles. 1 Samuel 8-5 states, "They said to him, 'You are old, and your sons do not follow your ways. Now appoint a king to lead us, such as all the other nations have.'" Question 6. Who captured the Ark of the Covenant in 1 Samuel? A. The Moabites. B. The Edomites. C. The Philistines. D. The Ammonites. Answer: C. The Philistines. The Philistines captured the Ark of the Covenant during the battle with Israel. This event is a critical turning point in 1 Samuel 4:11. The Ark of God was captured, and Eli's two sons, Hophni and Phinehas, died. Question 7. What was Eli's reaction when he heard the Ark of the Covenant was captured? A. He wept. B. He prayed. C. He fell off his chair and died. D. He called for fasting. Answer: C. He fell off his chair and died. Upon hearing the news of the ark's capture and the death of his sons, Eli fell backward off his chair by the side of the gate, broke his neck, and died. This is recounted in 1 Samuel 4:18. When he mentioned the ark of God, Eli fell backward off his chair by the side of the gate. His neck was broken and he died, for he was an old man and heavy. He had led Israel 40 years. Question 8. What happened to the statue of Dagon when the ark was placed next to it? A. It bowed down. B. It was struck by lightning. C. It fell and broke. D. It was turned to stone. Answer. C. It fell and broke. When the Ark of the Covenant was placed next to the statue of Dagon in the Philistine temple, the statue fell and broke. 1 Samuel 5-4 describes, "But the following morning when they rose, there was Dagon, fallen on his face on the ground before the ark of the Lord. His head and hands had been broken off and were lying on the threshold. Only his body remained." Question 9. How many stones did David take with him to fight Goliath? A. 3. B. 5. C. 6. D. 4. Answer. B. 5. David took 5 smooth stones from the stream to fight Goliath, arming himself with only a sling. This is mentioned in 1 Samuel 17:40. Then he took his staff in his hand, chose 5 smooth stones from the stream, put them in the pouch of his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand, approached the Philistine. Question 10. What was Saul's initial occupation before becoming king? A. Shepherd. B. Tent maker. C. Soldier. D. Farmer. Answer. D. Farmer. Saul was initially a farmer before being anointed as king by Samuel. This background is implied rather than explicitly stated in the biblical text, but Saul's humble beginnings are noted in the narrative surrounding his selection as king. Question 11. Who was Jonathan's father? A. David. B. Saul. C. Samuel. D. Eli. Answer. B. Saul. Jonathan was the son of Saul, making him a prince of Israel and a close friend of David. Their friendship is a significant theme in 1 Samuel, especially noted in chapters like 1 Samuel 20. Question 12. What city did Saul save by rallying the tribes of Israel? A. Jericho. B. Bethel. C. Jabesh Gilead. D. Gilgal. Answer. C. Jabesh Gilead. Saul saved the city of Jabesh Gilead by uniting the tribes of Israel to defeat the Ammonites. This event is one of Saul's early successes as king and is detailed in 1 Samuel 11-111. Question 13. What was the name of the priest who raised Samuel? A. Ahimelech. B. Abiathar. C. Eli. D. Zadok. Answer. C. Eli. Eli was the priest who raised Samuel at Shiloh. Samuel was left in Eli's care by his mother Hannah, fulfilling her vow to dedicate Samuel to the Lord's service. Eli's guidance of Samuel is key to the latter's development as a prophet, as seen throughout the early chapters of 1 Samuel. Question 14. How did Saul prove his kingship to the doubters in Israel? A. By winning a battle. B. By a public speech. C. By performing a miracle. D. By bringing prosperity. Answer. A. By winning a battle. Saul proved his kingship to the doubters by leading Israel to a military victory over the Ammonites, particularly in the relief of Jabesh Gilead. This demonstration of leadership and divine favor confirmed his status as king in the eyes of the people, as recorded in 1 Samuel 11. Question 15. What was the specific sin of Saul that led Samuel to tell him his kingdom would not endure? A. Adultery. B. Idolatry. C. Disobedience in performing a sacrifice. D. Theft. Answer. C. Disobedience in performing a sacrifice. Saul's specific sin that led Samuel to declare his kingdom would not endure was his disobedience in performing a sacrifice without Samuel, violating divine command. This incident, detailed in 1 Samuel 13-8-14, demonstrated Saul's impatience and lack of trust in God's timing, marking a critical failure in his reign. Question 16. How did David end up at Saul's court? A. By defeating Goliath. B. As a harp player to soothe Saul's spirit. C. Recruited as a soldier. D. Through a royal decree. Answer B. As a harp player to soothe Saul's spirit. David was brought to Saul's court because his skillful harp playing was recommended to soothe the king's troubled spirit. 1 Samuel 16:23 states, "And whenever the spirit from God came on Saul, David would take up his lyre and play. Then relief would come to Saul, he would feel better, and the evil spirit would leave him." This indicates the therapeutic effect of David's music on Saul's mental and emotional well-being. Question 17. What illness afflicted King Saul, prompting David's service at the court? A. Leprosy. B. Depression. C. An evil spirit from the Lord. D. Blindness. Answer C. An evil spirit from the Lord. Saul was afflicted by an evil spirit from the Lord, which led his servants to seek out David as a harpist to calm him. This is detailed in 1 Samuel 16:14-15, where it is stated that an evil spirit from God tormented Saul, and his attendants suggested finding someone who could play the lyre to help him feel better. Question 18. How did Jonathan show his loyalty to David? A. By giving him his armor. B. By helping him escape from Saul. C. By fighting alongside him. D. Both A and B. Answer D. Both A and B. Jonathan showed his loyalty to David by giving him his robe, armor, sword, bow, and belt as a sign of his commitment and by helping him escape from Saul's wrath. This dual aspect of Jonathan's loyalty is highlighted in 1 Samuel 18-34 and 1 Samuel 20, where Jonathan helps David understand Saul's intentions and plans his escape. Question 19. Which Philistine city did David flee to from Saul? A. Ashkelon. B. Gath. C. Ekron. D. Gaza. Answer B. Gath. David fled to Gath, seeking refuge from King Saul's persistent attempts to kill him. This episode is recounted in 1 Samuel 21:10, where David, fearing for his life, escapes to Gath, the city of Goliath, whom he had previously defeated. Question 20. What was the outcome of the battle in which Saul and his sons died? A. Victory for Israel. B. Defeat and death of Saul and his sons. C. A stalemate. D. Capture of the Ark of the Covenant. Answer B. Defeat and death of Saul and his sons. The battle against the Philistines at Mount Gilboa was disastrous for Israel, resulting in the deaths of Saul and his sons. 1 Samuel 31-16 describes how the Israelites were defeated and Saul, along with his 3 sons, perished in the battle, leading to significant political and social upheaval. Question 21. What did Saul do when he was desperate to communicate with Samuel after his death? A. Pray for a vision. B. Consulted the Urim and Thummim. C. Sought a witch at Endor to conjure Samuel's spirit. D. Offered sacrifices. Answer C. Sought a witch at Endor to conjure Samuel's spirit. In a moment of desperation, Saul sought the witch of Endor to conjure up the spirit of the deceased prophet Samuel to seek his guidance. This event is detailed in 1 Samuel 28-7-19, highlighting Saul's profound despair and departure from God's commands against necromancy. Question 22. Who was the king of Gath that David feigned insanity before? A. Achish. B. Dagon. C. Abimelech. D. Maacah. Answer A. Achish. David feigned insanity before Achish, the king of Gath, to escape potential execution. This tactic is described in 1 Samuel 21:12-15, where David acted insane, making marks on the doors of the gate and letting saliva run down his beard, leading Achish to dismiss him as harmless. Question 23. How did David spare Saul's life the first time? A. By hiding silently in a cave as Saul entered. B. By talking Saul out of killing him. C. By cutting off a corner of Saul's robe. D. By setting a trap and then releasing him. Answer: C. By cutting off a corner of Saul's robe. David secretly cut off a corner of Saul's robe when Saul unknowingly entered the cave where David was hiding. This act is recounted in 1 Samuel 24-4-5, illustrating David's respect for Saul's position as God's anointed king, despite Saul's intent to kill him. Question 24. What was the second way David proved his loyalty to Saul? A. By refusing to kill Saul when he had the chance. B. By capturing Saul's spear and water jug while he slept. C. By swearing an oath. D. By defeating Saul's enemies. Answer: B. By capturing Saul's spear and water jug while he slept. David again spared Saul's life and proved his loyalty by sneaking into Saul's camp and taking his spear and water jug without harming him. This episode, detailed in 1 Samuel 26, reinforces David's commitment to not harm the Lord's anointed and his desire for peace between them. Question 25. What role did Abigail play in David's story? A. She prevented David from murdering Nabal. B. She was a prophetess who foretold David's kingship. C. She provided food for David's men. D. Both A and C. Answer: D. Both A and C. Abigail, the wife of Nabal, played a crucial role by preventing David from avenging himself against her foolish husband. She did this by bringing food to David and his men and pleading for mercy, which is described in 1 Samuel 25. Her wise and diplomatic action not only prevented bloodshed, but also led to her later becoming David's wife after Nabal's death. Question 26. How did Saul initially react when David killed Goliath? A. He was jealous. B. He was grateful. C. He promoted David. D. He felt threatened. Answer: B. He was grateful. Initially, Saul was very pleased with David's victory over Goliath, as it lifted the Israelite army's spirits and brought a significant victory. Saul's positive reaction is implied in the immediate aftermath of the battle, though his later jealousy developed as David's popularity grew. Question 27. What personal item did Jonathan give to David to show his friendship? A. His sword. B. His crown. C. His robe. D. His ring. Answer: C. His robe. Jonathan gave David his robe, along with his armor, sword, bow, and belt as a sign of his love and covenant friendship. This gesture is recounted in 1 Samuel 18-3-4, symbolizing Jonathan's recognition of David's future as king and his personal commitment to him. Question 28. Name the Amalekite king whom Saul spared, disobeying God's command. A. Agag. B. Achish. C. Abimelech. D. Amraphel. Answer: A. Agag. Saul spared Agag, the king of the Amalekites, in direct violation of God's command to completely destroy everything Amalekite. This disobedience is a key factor in God's rejection of Saul as king, as described in 1 Samuel 15-8-9. Question 29. How did Saul's jealousy manifest towards David after David's victory over Goliath? A. He tried to kill him. B. He demoted him. C. He banished him. D. He spied on him. Answer: A. He tried to kill him. Saul's jealousy led him to view David as a threat, culminating in several attempts on David's life. Saul's hostile actions began after David's popularity soared following his victory over Goliath, as described throughout 1 Samuel 18 and 19, where Saul's fear of David's potential to take the throne becomes evident. Question 30. Which Philistine champion did David defeat with a sling and a stone? A. Goliath. B. Saul. C. Lami. D. Ishbibenob. Answer: A. Goliath. David famously defeated Goliath, the giant champion of the Philistines, with just a sling and a stone. This iconic battle is detailed in 1 Samuel 17:49-50, where David's faith and courage underpin his miraculous victory against the heavily armored Goliath, marking a pivotal moment in his rise to prominence. Question 31. What was the medium of Ender's punishment for helping Saul? A. She was stoned. B. She was exiled. C. There was no recorded punishment. D. She was imprisoned. Answer: C. There was no recorded punishment. The Bible does not record any specific punishment for the witch of Endor after she conjured up Samuel's spirit at Saul's request. Despite the prohibition against necromancy in Israel, the text in 1 Samuel 28 does not mention any consequences she faced from Saul or from God directly after this event. Question 32. What was the name of Saul's daughter who was initially promised to David? A. Michal. B. Merab. C. Ahinoam. D. Abigail. Answer: B. Merab. Merab, Saul's daughter, was initially promised to David, but she was later given in marriage to Adriel the Mahalathite, as described in 1 Samuel 18:17-19. This act was part of Saul's ongoing manipulations and attempts to control David. Question 33. How did David manage to escape from Saul in the city of Keilah? A. By digging a tunnel. B. By hiding in a well. C. By disguising himself. D. Through divine guidance and a warning. Answer: D. Through divine guidance and a warning. David escaped from Saul in Keilah after being warned by God through inquiry via the ephod. God told David that the people of Keilah would surrender him to Saul, leading David to flee the city, as recorded in 1 Samuel 23:10-13. Question 34. What was the name of the priest killed by Saul's orders at Nob? A. Zadok. B. Abiathar. C. Ahimelech. D. Eli. Answer: C. Ahimelech. Ahimelech, the priest at Nob, was killed by Saul's orders after he provided help to David. Saul accused him and the priest of conspiring with David and ordered their execution, as described in 1 Samuel 22:16-19. Question 35. Which Philistine town became David's base for a time? A. Ashdod. B. Ziklag. C. Ashkelon. D. Ekron. Answer: B. Ziklag. Ziklag became David's base for over a year during the period he sought refuge from King Saul. It was during his stay here that he conducted various raids while feigning loyalty to the Philistines, as mentioned in 1 Samuel 27-6. Question 36. What specific item did David cut off from Saul to show he could have killed him? A. A piece of his robe. B. A lock of his hair. C. The strap of the sandal. D. A piece of his tent. Answer: A. A piece of his robe. David secretly cut off a piece of Saul's robe in the cave to demonstrate that he could have killed him but chose not to. This incident is a key moment showing David's respect for Saul as the Lord's anointed, detailed in 1 Samuel 24-45. Question 37. Who killed Goliath's brother? A. Abishai. B. Elhanan. C. Job. D. Asahel. Answer B. Elhanan. Elhanan killed the brother of Goliath, as noted in 2 Samuel 21:19. This verse clarifies that it was not Goliath himself, but his brother who was killed by Elhanan, highlighting the ongoing conflicts between the Israelites and the Philistines. Question 38. What was the unusual weapon David used to kill Goliath? A. A spear. B. A slingshot. C. A sword. D. A javelin. Answer B. A slingshot. David used a slingshot to defeat Goliath, choosing this unconventional weapon over traditional armor and swords. This choice emphasizes his reliance on God rather than on conventional military might, as described in 1 Samuel 17:40. Question 39. How did the people react to Saul after his victory against the Ammonites at Jabesh Gilead? A. They rejected him. B. They celebrated his victory. C. They tried to overthrow him. D. They remained indifferent. Answer B. They celebrated his victory. After Saul's decisive victory against the Ammonites, the people celebrated and fully accepted his kingship. This victory significantly solidified his position as king, leading to a renewal of this kingship at Gilgal, as seen in 1 Samuel 11:14-15. Question 40. What did Samuel warn would happen if the Israelites were ruled by a king? A. The king would be merciful. B. The king would bring prosperity. C. The king would take their sons and daughters for his purposes. D. The king would lead them to great victories. Answer C. The king would take their sons and daughters for his purposes. Samuel warned that a king would draft their sons into his army and take their daughters to be perfumers and cooks, among other duties. This warning is part of Samuel's speech about the rights of a king, meant to caution the Israelites about the implications of their demand for a monarchy, as detailed in 1 Samuel 8:11-18. Question 41. How many times did Saul attempt to pin David to the wall with his spear? A. Once. B. Twice. C. 3 times. D. 4 times. Answer B. Twice. Saul attempted to pin David to the wall with his spear twice, both times driven by jealousy and fear of David's rising influence and divine favor. These attempts are part of the narrative that showcases Saul's deteriorating mental state and his growing paranoia, as recorded in 1 Samuel 18:10-11 and 19:10. Question 42. What happened to the Ark of the Covenant during its stay in the land of the Philistines? A. It was worshipped. B. It brought plagues to the Philistines. C. It was lost in battle. D. It was destroyed. Answer B. It brought plagues to the Philistines. During its stay in Philistine territory, the ark brought various plagues to the cities where it was kept, including tumors and chaos. This divine retribution led the Philistines to decide to return the ark to Israel, as described in 1 Samuel 5-6:12. Question 43. How did David react to the news of Saul's death? A. He rejoiced. B. He mourned and fasted. C. He ignored the news. D. He claimed the throne immediately. Answer B. He mourned and fasted. David mourned and fasted upon hearing of Saul and Jonathan's death, showcasing his respect for Saul as the Lord's anointed and his deep friendship with Jonathan. His lamentation is recorded in 2 Samuel 1, highlighting his genuine grief and sense of loss. Question 44. How did the Philistines treat the bodies of Saul and his sons after their death? A. They buried them with honors. B. They left them on the battlefield. C. They hung them on the walls of Bethshan. D. They burned them ceremonially. Answer C. They hung them on the walls of Bethshan. After killing Saul and his sons, the Philistines hung their bodies on the walls of Bethshan as a display of victory and humiliation. This act of desecration is mentioned in 1 Samuel 31:10, marking a low point for Israel and a grim testament to the consequences of Saul's failed kingship. Question 45. What was David's relationship with the priest Ahimelech? A. Enemy. B. Friend and ally. C. No direct relationship. D. Brother-in-law. Answer: B. Friend and ally. Ahimelech, the priest at Nob, helped David by giving him holy bread and the sword of Goliath when David was fleeing from Saul. This act of assistance, recounted in 1 Samuel 21-19, demonstrates Ahimelech's support and allegiance to David despite the risk involved. Question 46. Who was Ishbosheth? A. Saul's general. B. Saul's son and a claimant to Israel's throne. C. A Philistine king. D. A priest who anointed David. Answer: B. Saul's son and a claimant to Israel's throne. Ishbosheth was Saul's son, who was made king over Israel by Abner, the commander of Saul's army after Saul's death. His brief and turbulent reign is detailed in 2 Samuel 2-8-10, where he is portrayed as a weak king controlled by others. Question 47. What significant event occurred at Mizpah in 1 Samuel? A. Saul was anointed as king. B. The ark was returned. C. David was crowned. D. Samuel judged Israel. Answer: A. Saul was anointed as king. The significant event at Mizpah was Saul's public selection and anointing as king over Israel. This event, where Saul was chosen by lot, is described in 1 Samuel 10:17-24 as a pivotal moment in Israelite history, marking the transition from a theocratic to a monarchical system. Question 48. What was the test Samuel used to prove who the next king of Israel should be, leading to Saul's selection? A. A battle. B. Casting lots. C. A series of questions. D. A prophetic vision. Answer: B. Casting lots. Samuel used the casting of lots to determine God's choice for king, which pointed to Saul. This method of divination was seen as a way to reveal God's will directly, ensuring that the selection process was viewed as divinely ordained, as recorded in 1 Samuel 10:20-21. Question 49. Why did the Philistines return the Ark of the Covenant to Israel? A. They were defeated in battle. B. The ark brought them good fortune. C. They converted to worshiping Yahweh. D. The ark brought plagues and misfortune. Answer: D. The ark brought plagues and misfortune. The Philistines returned the ark to Israel because it brought plagues and misfortune to their cities. This series of calamities was interpreted as divine wrath, compelling them to send the ark back to avoid further divine punishment, as detailed in 1 Samuel 5:11-12. Question 50. How did David mourn Saul and Jonathan's death? A. By writing a lament. B. By declaring a national holiday. C. By offering sacrifices. D. By building a monument. Answer: A. By writing a lament. David mourned Saul and Jonathan by composing a lament, known as the Psalm of the Bow, which is recorded in 2 Samuel 1:17-27. This poignant poem expresses David's deep sorrow and respect for Saul and Jonathan, highlighting his emotional response to their deaths and his recognition of their contributions to Israel.